Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is general or collective, so parts may or may not resonate. Just take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. So I did a short meditation before starting this reading, just to speed things up a little bit, give it a little more context before starting the reading. And this is talking about my Mean Girls card. This is the Five of Wands, and so the wands represent the element of fire. And they're made of wood because wood fuels the fire. This is talking about immature competition, this card. If you think about, narcissistic cheerleaders, just in grade 6, grade 10, they really, really want the trophy. But they can see that another team is better than them. They have all the moves and they're on time and all of that. And they really want the trophy, so they're trying to scheme, what can we do to stop them from winning, instead of focusing on their own performance. And if they're not successful in pulling something off, their mothers will pull strings behind the scenes to make sure that they do win. And this is when people are immature about competition. When you get older, or not even necessarily older, because some people never learn this, but when you're mature about competition, you start to realize, hey, it's all about me. If you can keep your shift together when you're under pressure, you're much more likely to win the trophy. And so this is talking about the competition being with the last best version of yourself, no matter who else you're competing against, whether that be for, a sporting event, or if that's for a position at work, or whatever it is that you want in life. And so this is talking about understanding that, you can use the competition to inspire you to get better. I watch the other team and go, okay, how are they doing that? Let's figure it out next time we come out. Let's make sure we can do that too. And let's sharpen it up like they do, and just watch them and be inspired by them and learn from them. So the next time you go out, if everyone on the team is even just 1% better than they were the time before, it's going to make a huge improvement in the team if the whole team has that attitude. And, learning from the competition is much better than focusing on the trophy. This is the card I drew from my... for the underlying energy for this reading. And this is from my Oracle Tales from the Vector. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This is one of the many dragons featured in my Oracle. This is Niska. She is, when she was a baby, she was kidnapped by some dark priests and mistreated. Her wings were clipped. She couldn't fly. She was young. And she's been chained in Plato's cave of Allegri ever since. And so she stokes the fires of that throws the shadows on the wall. There's the story of Plato's the Allegri of Plato's cave. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking today. Is there's people there chained in this cave, and they've never been outside of it, and they can only see this wall in front of them. And behind them, though, there's this road with people passing by with different objects, but all they can see is the shadow of these objects on the opposing wall. And so they feel that's their reality. They don't understand. They don't understand anything other than the shadows. And then one of them escapes and makes it out the cave into the beautiful sunlight. And there's water and a beach, and there's sailboats going by, and they're like, they come back, but they're kind of blinded by the light because they haven't been out in the light for so long, and they're kind of stumbling about, but they're telling everybody how beautiful it is out there, and everybody thinks that they're crazy. So they refuse to leave. And this is talking about reality and our perception of reality, how it can be formed. And so this, she's trapped there until the combination on this chain is broken. And she has her father's ring that was given to her at birth. And he sometimes whispers to her through it directions for how to get out of there. But she has, last time I heard, she's still there. So this is talking about her rage of being chained up like this, and not and having her wings clipped has caused her to fan the flames of this fire for ever since, you know. And so this is talking about you know, how your perception as a child can be changed about the world by the people who raise you, basically. We have the energy here. I just want to say happy solstice, because it is the evening of the solstice. It's the longest day, shortest night. So there's going to be, before I start on this card, there will be light after the dark. And also, happy Father's Day to all you wonderful fathers out there. I hope you had an amazing day, and this will be Monday morning when you hear this. I totally sometimes forget about Father's Day because my dad passed back in 2002, and so it's been a very long time since I've made sure I remembered it. But I wanted to say, you know, happy Father's Day to all of my community. You play a very important role in our, you know, in children's lives, and you know, thank you for doing such a great job. This is the Nine of Swords, and so the Nine of Swords is talking about waking up in a never-ending nightmare. And it's talking about, you know, this is someone in the middle of the night, maybe can't sleep, feeling really anxious, kind of trapped in your mind. The swords in tarot represent the element of air, so it's about your thoughts. And the swords are mental intelligence, discipline of the mind. And it's talking about that never-ending nightmare. But sometimes, if you've been working on yourself and doing prayer and meditation, you might be woken up in the middle of the night by a dream, or by just like an inspiration, and by the Holy Spirit. And all of a sudden you wake up and aha, I have it. This is what I need to do. And you're shown consistent steps of action to get to the goal. And sometimes this can just represent like crushing boredom, like being totally bored. And in any case, this is talking about, you know, there's cosmic symbols on this quilt, and it's talking about the universe has your back. It's saying, you know, you're going to have to leave your comfort zone. You're going to have to get out of bed, go and put some of your energy into it. But whatever this is about, you can move forward. It's really interesting because if this energy has been on your mind for quite some time, the energy tonight of the solstice, of it being they're more light than dark, may empower you in this endeavor to finally let go of whatever this is. The other thing I was going to mention is I noticed a while ago that there are people fighting with swords here, carved into the bed frame. Don't sleep on a bed with things carved in, with people fighting with swords, if you want to have a good night's sleep. And really, it made me think about, you know, if you store things underneath your bed, it's really important. I know, like, it's better not to, but if you know, we might live in a limited space and you have nowhere to put things, but make sure that you're not storing anything under your bed that is bothersome to you, because you'd be surprised how that energy can affect your sleep. And then we have the Four of Wands here. So this is talking about commitment, partnership, and marriage. This is like the official tarot marriage card. And so this is talking about starting a new beginning of fulfillment. It's saying, you know, basically you have the down payment for the castle, but you are going to need to make the mortgage payments. But congratulations, it's a huge feat to get the down payment together these days for sure. And also, this is talking about, you know, maybe the question has been popped and both people have said yes, and you're planning a wedding, and then it's saying, but after that, you also need to put even more effort. Than a lot of people focus on the marriage rather than, or on the wedding more than the marriage, saying you need to put the focus into your relationship and make sure you look after that relationship, put your energy into it so that it stays fulfilling. And then we have transition. So this is kind of interesting because the Tower energy here in my reading, instead of I'm calling this the the tower energy. It's divorce, and quite often. But what I meant by this is divorce from source is the worst divorce. But here we have a marriage, we have a never-ending nightmare, and we have a transition, a death transition. So a lot of people get afraid of this card. They think, oh, like it's death, but it's really talking about the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. So really, in many ways, it's talking more about rebirth. And this is talking about the Grim Reaper coming into town, and he's a pretty scary looking dude, but in many cultures, he's not supposed to be an evil figure. He's just representing this transition of life to, to this new cycle, and it really means a major transition, something that you'll notice, and that's exactly what the Tower is as well. The Tower is when your intuition will be whispering to you, hey, you need to do something about that, but you don't listen. And then the Tower says, that the universe is saying to you, and that might be why you're waking up to these nightmares. The universe is trying to get your attention through your dreams or whatever way possible. Then the next thing you know, you get the frying pan treatment over the head, whack. And you're like, hey, that hurt. Why did that happen? But you still don't get it. And then the 2x4 comes out. And you still carry on in the same way without, looking into something that's really important. And then bang, the lightning hits the tower. And the next thing you know, you're, falling out of it and your castle's on fire. And now you have to rebuild. And so basically, the Tower is a reality check that is necessary for you to be able to be on track of what is going on. In the Tower, quite often there'll be there's two people falling out in the tarot card, and one is totally shocked, and the other one is like, oh, I knew I should have taken care of it. So the Tower will be saying, you could, if you nip things in the bud, you could really stop the Tower from happening. It's a reality check. And so the more it goes on, the longer it's taking place, and you don't do something about it, then it's going to get worse. So nip things in the bud. I was watching a video on YouTube here, and it was about how the Japanese always keep their houses spotlessly clean, and they have a 2-minute rule. It's kind of like, if you see something that you can fix in 2 minutes, do it immediately. You don't say, I'll do that tomorrow. And that's why their houses are always so clean and perfect and everything's put away. 2 minutes. And instead of thinking about it, every time like you open the fridge, there's spilt milk in the fridge and you should have cleaned it up, and now you're going to have to scrub it. Well, it's probably only going to take you a couple minutes, but every time you open the fridge, you look at it and go, yeah, I'm so busy, I'll do it tomorrow. It's that type of energy. And so I really like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to do more of that. And so just 2-minute rule. If it only takes 2 minutes, do it now. I like that idea. And so I'm giving you, I feel like it's really, really good advice. And it would be amazing, like how, 2 minutes, like if you did that, that'd be 20 minutes, and you could get 10 things that were really bugging you about your environment done. I think it's really powerful. So in any case, let's get back to this. But for some reason, it's coming up. So that making sure you nip things in the bud. So when the Grim Reaper's coming through town, this older person is trying to barter with them. Like, we don't want you in town. Well, the two things that you can count on, they say, are death and taxes. But you can also always count on change, because change is happening every second of every minute of every day. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it is happening. So we only seem to notice like when change is, like it's something like a tower, and that's when we notice. But maybe if we could notice a little bit sooner, we could avert a big disaster, and it would just be a 2-minute deal instead of, you know what I mean? So I really like that idea. We have this energy of these two young ones. This one is handing a flower to the Grim Reaper and saying, here, Here's a bloom. We want, it's talking about the bloom of new life, wanting things to change. Why not? Let's see some change around here. Let's see some good change. And then we have a king that's been trampled underfoot here. And it's not representing any king in particular. What it is, it's representing systems having cracks in them. And we're seeing that a lot in the world right now, that, you know, there's a lot of change happening in the world that is challenging and difficult. And we're seeing where things are failing, and we have the files, and we have, you know, another war happening, and we still haven't resolved the ones that have been going on. And it's just like, whoa, like, could we have something, like, can we do something like to make more our world a more peaceful place? And so we welcome the transition of that kind of transition. And then this is talking about someone who has put a lot of, this could be your energy, you may have put a lot of effort into something. The Pentacles in Tarot represent the energy of the health, wealth, and happiness in 3D. And this is the element of earth, so it's about bringing your thoughts down to earth, earthly matters of the earth. And it's talking about, quite often, like, money's involved, of course, because you need money to be able to do, to live well in the 3D. But you could have all the money in the world, and if you don't have your health and you don't have love in your life, you're not going to be living the best lifestyle. So this is talking about lifestyle, not just the money. So this is saying this person has invested his time, money, and energy into a project, and it's, you know, 7 pentacles, there's only 10. So this is a fair amount of money, you know. So this is talking about, you know, putting a lot of energy and effort into something, and he's used to being successful, and for whatever reason, this is not working out the way he thought it was going to work out. So he's trying to figure that out, and he's trying to decide, is this something that I should just let go of and just take my loss and move forward and start a new project with what I have? Or should I try one more thing? Or like, what can I do here? And so that's the energy here. And then we have this, the world coming in. So it's good because we have cards of transition. This is a card of transition. 9 is saying that an end of a cycle is happening. And the death card is definitely transition, and this card is talking about transition, and the Tower is talking about transition. So it's talking about the world is card 21 in the Major Arcana. It's talking about you've been successful at completing everything that you can with what has happened in this cycle, and it's time to start a new one. So it may be time to let this go or take it in a different direction from what you've been doing to make it work. That's something that you would have to decide. This, I feel, this Tower is talking about this energy here, this immature competition. If people have been doing things in a very iffy way, you know, things against the law, etc., to cause this, you know, all of this kind of loss, then, you know, it's that cycle's ending. So the justice will be coming in, and if you're on the right side of the law on the Tower, it doesn't matter if you're on the right side or the wrong side of the law in the Tower. When the Tower hits, it's really uncomfortable. You know, it's like Murphy's Law. It happens at the worst moment, and it can be a real shock for some people, and it could be a while before you get over it. It's very uncomfortable. But if you're on the right side of the law, it's going to work in your favor. And if you're on the wrong side of the law, you've been caught, basically, and you're going to have to deal with whatever it is you've been doing. Let's see what else is going on here. We have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is an energy of, he's one of the 4 kings in the Minor Arcana. And he is all about words. He understands how to use words, how powerful they can be. He understands that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used as uplifting tools. And, you know, they can be written or they can be verbal. And so the King of Swords is generally someone who uses words, whether that be written or verbal, to for their career, their occupation. This is someone that would be educated And quite often this energy can represent like leaders of the world, like the King of Swords energy, presidents, prime ministers. This would be Congress, Senate, people that are higher up. And then this energy can also talk about, like presidents, prime ministers, that sort of energy. I feel like there's something like I feel like there's another tower about to hit globally here. Like I don't know. Just before this, I was watching that they took the president to Camp David for the weekend. Kind of energy, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's that about? That's usually when they have some big plans brewing usually. And so I don't know if that's like if it's going to have something to do that, but there might be something that now we're going to hear about another tower happening on a global level. But this can also be for individuals. Whatever is happening at the top of the pyramid is going to affect everybody. It's an energy and a vibration. So this can represent like Congress, senators. This can represent like maybe new laws being made, that type of energy. A lot of countries are going through that right now. There's a lot of unrest around the world. It's really can be disturbing when you watch the news, but it's a good idea to kind of just watch it for 5 minutes even, just to get an idea what's going on because of the trickle-down effect. And this sometimes can also, so this definitely could be politician energy. This could be about legal matters. So the lawmakers of the land, it could be like an energy of lawyers for sure. So if this is a lawyer, this would probably be a lawyer that's a partner in an established firm, someone that's, has a good reputation, that knows what they're doing. This is all that people, they respect their work. This could be a head prosecutor. This could be judges, people who make the laws and keep, and are in charge of law and order. This could be chiefs of police, the FBI, CIA, NSA, all of those agencies. What else? This can be a best-selling author. Maybe this could be not so much, I was going to say social media influencers. That's kind of taken a bit of a dive right now. I think reality is catching up to a lot of people, and it's like, hey, we're busy in the trenches here. We don't have time for, fluff is what the word I'm getting. And then so there's also, this could represent surgeons with being able to be skillful with the sword. This could be dentists, psychiatrists, what else? Those types of like educated people. This could be engineers, inventors, researchers. So all of these kind of more intellectual pursuits and someone who's not using like their physical labor to earn their living, basically. And what it's saying is be careful with your words. Your words are powerful. The energy is talking about, like the King of Swords does understand that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used to uplift people. And if you give your word to someone and you don't follow it up by action, then your word becomes useless. So it's talking about all of that energy there. We do have a king. The King of Swords is on this missing money and the world change, like something shifting here around that. We have the moon. So the moon sure has been showing up a lot lately. And this is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it. So I feel that it could be about the eclipse energy. We did have an eclipse on February the 17th and then March 3rd. And so that energy, mid-August is when like that energy kind of peters out. And if you took notes, like I suggested, if you've been watching my channel for a while, around that time, just saying, hey, just a 10 points of what you would like to accomplish. And when you write it down, you're more likely to do it. When you go back, and then I say put it away, in mid-August, if you look back, you'll see, wow, I got a whole lot, like there was a lot of change happening, and you were so busy dealing with it that you didn't notice how much you really did get done. So this energy here, be careful with this energy. I'm just getting this is coming up in a few readings lately. that you may be closer to your goal than you think you are. So you may find a solution for it, and this could represent that you found a solution for it. And you didn't throw, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so, this eclipse energy, I feel, is playing a role. And we also have the solstice tonight. So, this is sitting, the moon card is also sitting right on here on this flag. And this flag is representing light at the end of the tunnel. So it's, there's more light than dark tonight, today, like in this time frame. And then we have this dog and this wolf howling at the moon. And this lobster's trying to gain the courage to be vulnerable and crawl by them and hope that they don't notice him. This can be talking about staying on in between these two pillars, staying on your path without being distracted by your fears or by illusions. And also it can be saying maybe you're been too domestic lately, like not getting out enough, or maybe you're a wild child and you've been like out and about and it's time to come home. Check your mail, that type of energy. And then we have, in a mental prison here. So this is sitting on this transition of marriage. I do feel this may be talking about divorce for some people, not just divorce from source, but like an actual divorce for some. And this could represent a divorce lawyer then. Quite often, if the king or the queen of swords shows up, they are, of all the kings and queens, they're the most likely to be divorced. So this could be your energy and you're dealing with a divorce lawyer, possibly, with all of this energy around. So this mental prison is talking about someone, like this is an energy of, the only thing holding this person back is their thoughts. But it's a lot of, there's a lot of emotion here, a lot of emotion attached to the thoughts. And so you have to get neutral to the emotion so that you don't react to the emotion and make decisions based on that. You want to make logical, intuitive choices here. And so I feel like this is what you've been doing. I feel there was way more water here before. And there's 8 swords in total here, and 7 of them are behind you now. So I feel like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. This is the one that's left. This is you're okay. I think this is the last sword here. This is what the action I'm going to take. And there's like the water has dissipated. So your right foot is on dry land. And your right foot is saying, I want to take action now, getting ready to take action on this sword. Cut these this binding free, take that blindfold off and move forward. Okay, I'm ready to move forward. This is saying I don't want to see it, or I don't know what to do still. I can't see a way out. And so this is like, okay, I'm ready now. This can be an energy of feeling duty bound. Quite often, like if you notice in the background, she's leaving the city here. And this is she's leaving her castle, and she's leaving it behind her. And so this can talk about not only her thoughts that are behind her, but there could be a lot of people directing their thoughts behind her back. There could be a lot of things happening behind her back. And so this is an energy sometimes of leaving your comfort zone again, as in this energy, and also being in an energy of maybe leaving your home and people that you love behind. Okay, so feeling left out in the cold. When people are getting divorced, it's just the way it is. Like it's not pretty, and a lot of people. The good thing is you'll find out who your friends are and who they're not. And there's quite often especially if there's been some energy happening behind your back, and people have been talking about it and talking about you and getting the facts inaccurate, which really happens quite a bit. Taking sides, that kind of energy, or not taking sides, which is pretty much worse in some ways, because they're taking a side, but they're just not, they're not being open about it. This can be a lot of energy that's making you feel left out in the cold. It's like, if you've been married for quite some time, it could be really like challenging, especially if it's not your choice. and it's your partner's choice that they're the one that wants the divorce. If there's been a third party involvement, like there could be a bazillion reasons why this is happening, but sometimes it can really make you feel like you're left out in the cold. And that's, that you don't have, like you're finding out that the people that you thought you could count on, you can't. The good news is you find out that people that you thought you could count on, you can't. It's a double-edged sword, but really you're better off knowing. And so these two people are out in the cold. There's only 5 pentacles now, of course, because if you have to, when we get divorced, we tend to divide our assets. So there's less, and this could be a feeling of maybe having to sell your home and being homeless. It doesn't necessarily mean you're homeless, but it could be a fear of being homeless, or knowing that, yeah, I do have to sell my home and I have to maybe move into an apartment instead of a house, or whatever that is. This, that happens quite often in divorce. The lifestyle gets downgraded, and we have, this person's on crutches and they have a bell around their neck. It's a plague bell. In the old days, they didn't have apps for plagues. Like to isolate people from society, they would just put a big bell around their neck and make them wear it. So when they came into town, everybody would hear them coming and could get the heck out of their way, which made it really hard to earn a living. And this is that type of energy. There could be tactics where if people are on one side or another, they will use tactics to ruin your reputation, make you, the bad guy in the situation. And quite often the facts are not true. But if enough people say it, then it becomes the truth. And before you know it, you feel like you are left out in the cold. And I think usually in divorce, both people in a divorce feel that way to a certain extent. And so, but it's depending on the truth of those rumors, right? And it can be really challenging. And it also can represent an energy, like if you have to sell your home and move to another part of the city, and that it can really affect your performance at work and, being able to get to work and all of those things. So this is that type of energy. I feel that that's what this is representing. And the snowflakes are talking about tactics. Anyone can handle a flake or two. But if you start realizing, oh, wow, people have been talking behind my back and they've been knowing what's been going on and they didn't tell me and I thought they were my friends, or maybe a friend is involved and a third party, like it could be a bazillion things. So it's that energy. It's kind of typical of divorce, actually. And then look at this. We have the soulmate energy coming in, though. So what's this about? I feel like this is saying, like, this is really hard, especially if you felt like, oh, this person was your true love, and that, that you like plan to be married forever, and maybe you've started a family and have children together, and you really felt like this was the one for you, and it was not, and that could be very challenging, especially if there is a third party involvement. But sometimes this card can talk about pulling this all together and recognizing that this can represent two souls that decide to come together, and they're going to it's like a soul contract. So they're meant to get together in this lifetime. They're both balanced in their masculine and their feminine energy within themselves, and so they're not completing each other. They just want to be together. So this could be saying that after all this is over, you're going to have a chance at love again. So don't be so devastated here, because it's sitting on the marriage card at the beginning of fulfillment. So it could be saying that, and it also could be saying that you already thought this marriage that is ending, or this partnership in business, or whatever, whatever happened in your family, you really thought you could count on these people and found out you couldn't. And that, and also, this is also saying that this is the Hermes symbol, and it's talking about the communication, and healing communication. How do you use your words, and what are you saying to yourself? this energy also I feel is talking like Mercury is going into retrograde in a week from now. And that is this energy. This is Virgo energy. And it's talking about, you know, when Mercury goes retrograde, there can be a lot of energy that is miscommunication. And it's right on, Mercury goes in retrograde on the 29th, which is the exact same day that we have the full moon in Cancer. And Cancer is all about your home. So if you're feeling like so emotional right now, just be aware. Cry, do what you have to, but don't do anything irrational. Stay as calm as you can, because this moon is probably already affecting you. The Mercury retrograde energy, the communication glitches. There can be a lot of people not understanding what you're saying, or people saying something and it being taken the wrong way. Be very aware right now that if you're feeling like super emotional, that it could be because that full moon is about, it's in about 4 days. We're going to really start to feel it. And on the same flippin' day, Mercury goes retrograde. I am going to be doing readings. I'm going to start them tomorrow regarding that for each of the signs, because I feel like a lot of people are feeling that right now without having a divorce, And so this is talking about, and this does not necessarily mean divorce for everybody, but it's that type of energy where something very substantial is going to happen. For the Tower, I feel this is more for the energy of the people that have been, both sides are affected, but the people that have been in unfair competition are going to, that's the kind of energy that's just being slapped with karma right now. And we have the strength energy, so being able to look at your true self, look at your fears. This young woman is reaching into this lion's mouth, and he's mature. And yeah, look how submissive he's being. And that's because she is determined to, he represents her fear. And she wants to reach her infinite potential. She wants to move forward in as strong a way as she can, which quite often requires going back and, sometimes way back into our childhood to get over the fears that we've had throughout life that have caused, us not to be able to move forward. And it's so interesting, like the King of Wands is coming up a lot in the readings this week. And this is a visionary energy. This is about moving forward, being like kind of enthusiastic about going on new adventures, embracing that energy of the new rather than fighting it. And so the King of Wands, of course, it's talking about that passionate action. He's considered to be this, really sexy king of all the 4 kings. The kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers, because he's very charming. He's good with words. He's innovative, and he loves adventure. And so he's someone that you can have a lot of fun with. And probably there's a lot of competition for him, to be in this energy. And this is a forward thinker and someone who likes new ideas, new adventures, new ways of looking at things. And behind him here on his throne, the salamander's in a circle, and the lion here and this little salamander running by is talking about the protection from fire. And so this could, like when I looked at this, and now I never can unsee it, is a face on the back of here, like 2 eyes and a mustache with a nose and smoke coming out there. And I feel like this is like saying he's either just smoking hot and we'll agree to that, or it could be that the king is, where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, out of all the kings, the wands, the fire signs, there's, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius have a tendency to settle down later in life than other kings. Like their love of adventure and the new, their visionary nature sometimes bleeds into their romantic life. So it's something just to keep in mind. And also another thing to keep in mind is all of the figures, all the characters in tarot are archetypes. They're not gender specific. So this could be a woman in her masculine energy as well as a man in his masculine energy. And then we have the conviction beyond a doubt. So, yay, you find, like, this is saying, okay, you're out of this energy. You're out of this energy. Maybe you have met a soulmate. Maybe it's this King of Wands and you're off on an adventure together, because now you're standing your ground. And this is like these wands here represent the actions of others coming towards you, but you are you've gone to higher ground, and you are willing to protect yourself and to fight what's yours. Like something happened here when you went inward, maybe, and you healed something, and maybe met this soulmate energy, and now it's talking about you know what you know now, and you have conviction beyond a doubt what direction to go in. You know what you want. You know where you're headed. Yay. That's a good feeling. And but you notice we have a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. So this can be talking about being straddled between the in-between of those two worlds. So there's still, it's a bit of a teeter-totter. So watch those emotions. And this is also talking sometimes about, do I see any other cards? Yeah, there's a few. I'm just going to keep going here, and I'll mention what I see here, and want to see what else is out here. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles energy, I've been asking about her because this is, the Queen of Pentacles is known for being the most resourceful of the queens. She can make something out of nothing. She loves quality over quantity. She comes from generational wealth, and generational wealth, like a legacy that's passed down from one generation to the other. And that's all admirable that she's resourceful and all that. But I've been asking the question, why is she so resourceful? Like, why? She comes from generational wealth. And so I'm asking that because maybe some of you are missing money and you're asking, where did the money go? Where did my lifestyle go? What happened here? And you want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And so this energy, I've been asking that question, and I feel like I feel this is defining that this is your energy here, that you're this person, and you want to know what happened here. Something happened here. It changed your world. And then all this divorce started happening. There was something. And it could have been this unfair competition energy. But a tower is now hitting. As much as it's hitting you, it's hitting them full force, I feel. Because if there's been anything illegal, I'm going to take one more card off here. Yeah, see, here's the energy that I was picking up. That's why I wanted to wait. I want to see what's at the top of the pyramid here. Because this energy is talking about, this is the only knight we've seen so far. Like, this is communication coming in. And this sometimes can represent, like, the Knight of Swords can represent someone like a fool rushing in. We can only see half his sword, so he might only have half the information. He is, either running to something or from something. He's in a panic, and we can't see the point of his sword, and maybe he can't see the point of what his information is either. This big red flag on his helmet. Even the clouds in the sky are all jagged and nervous. The horse is stressed out, and the horse represents heartfelt energy and also passion. And this horse is like, he's forcing it to run, in a panic against the wind through barren land. And he's running from something towards something. So, he's trying to get there as quickly as he can. Now, sometimes this can represent an investigation. It can represent like hidden cameras, technology, a spy energy. And what's interesting is what's been coming up is this Uranus in Gemini energy. And it's been coming up in every reading because Uranus and Gemini, bottom line, I've done I did a reading for all the signs. And it's like, if you want to go back and look at those for your sign, it's, beginning of May, middle of May, end of May, beginning of June. That's when Uranus moved into Gemini. And the thing is that Uranus hasn't been in Gemini since 1941 to 1949. And that was during World War II. And all the truth that came out from that. like that we're still dealing with. And we're in that same energy now. What is that like? That's like 76 years later. And so bottom line is that Uranus in Gemini wants the truth to come out, and it's coming out, and we're seeing that like, and Uranus is going to be in Gemini for the next 7.5 to 8 years until 2033. So basically we're seeing this happen, and it's a very powerful energy, and it's really like weird ways that the truth is coming out, like tower energy. Like every day though, there's like, if you look on the news, you're like, what the heck is going on now? Like, like what is going on now? What more could happen right now? That's weird. And so that's the energy I feel. And so maybe this goes all the way back, if this is generational wealth, maybe it goes all the way back to 1941 to 1949 during World War II and the aftermath. Because this has probably come up in the last 2 weeks several times in my readings. And the same energy, when she comes out, it's like, okay, what happened? So that might give you some idea of what's going on. We also have this energy here of, I'm going to go from the bottom to the top and back down again. We have the never-ending nightmare or the truth coming in, like through your dreams, intuition, to help solve it. Feeling left out in the cold. You may have met a soulmate, or you thought you were with your soulmate, but perhaps, this could be a rough patch, or maybe you're actually decided to get divorced, and maybe that's the decision here. This is talking about what happened to the generational wealth, and there's some sort of information. Someone's like coming in. This can be private detective or a legal or illegal investigation. Sometimes this can be hidden cameras and microphones and, that spy energy. This is also talking conviction beyond a doubt, that now that you know what you know, you're moving forward. And we have the King of Wands, could be the energy that's coming towards you. And maybe you're ready for adventure. You have your divorce lawyer and it's a whole new world. And you find out what happened to this, and it's going to be a big transition from this tower. So that could be that's basically what I'm picking up for this reading. I will clarify it for those that want clarification. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy. And likes, comments, and consider subscribing if you resonate. I really do appreciate it. It helps me to build my channel. All right, let's see. The numbers on these cards represent the paintings as they're listed in my gallery. It's talesfromthevector.com on my website, but I will put that information in the description box below, and you can check it out there if you want to take a look. So dissemination of information is talking about, there's an elephant in the room and you didn't see it. That's talking about this energy right here, where you don't want to see it, and this energy, I don't want to see it. For legal matters, looking at this reading, I just want to point this out, that this can be about an actual prison. This could be a conviction, like a sentence. This could be theft, the lawyer energy, hidden secrets coming out, unfair competition, being, the tactics used to stop someone from being able to access it, and this major transition happening with the tower. So there's, it could be something to do with that, this investigative energy. I didn't want to forget to mention that, but that might be what the elephant in the room is. Then we have worldly and otherworldly desires. This is when you give yourself total permission to go after your authentic desires, but this is also talking about, the needs of your spiritual side as well as the 3D world, and going after other people's, what belongs to their destiny instead of your own, can really backfire in a bad way. Taurus energy, you think Taurus is the second sign in the zodiac, and Venus rules over, that's about love. And it's also the give and take in life. And so this Taurus is the second sign in the zodiac. So it can talk about learning the give and take in life, but it sometimes can also talk about like a bull in a china shop energy when someone, if you ever try and get a toddler to share something and they don't want to share it, they can be like a bull in a china shop when they throw a temper tantrum about it. Like they have to learn to share. Not saying that you like, and about the give and take in life, basically. We have the karmic space of jealousy as well. So a lot of people feel karma is punishment, but karma is actually just cause and effect from your actions and sometimes from your inactions. So you could have direct karma from something you did yourself, and that could be, or something you didn't do, like you caused suffering, or you could see someone suffering and struggling, and you could do something easily about it, but you choose not to. Then there could also be indirect, which is something maybe your ancestors weren't able to clear up before they left this, crossed the veil. And so then it's up to the family to look after it for them. And this is, I'd rather be better than bitter. Jealousy, this is, in this oracle, it's those Russian dolls all nested in each other. We all are similar in some ways, but we always can be jealous of someone else. Of course, that's the thing. We can even be jealous of our own selves. Like let's say, 5 years ago you were 20 pounds lighter and now you wish you looked like that. Like, you could be jealous of that. But it's better to get better at what you do than to be bitter. Like that's the best approach to jealousy. Virgo, this is talking, I feel, okay, we're talking about, it's right sitting on this, communication. Communication that's not really clear. And Mercury, because Mercury is rules over the energy of Virgo. And so this is also talking about analytical critique as opposed to anal criticism. And so sometimes I feel like that energy can get out of hand when it's on this here. And I want to point out that when signs come up in my readings, that a general collective one like this, I'm not talking about individuals. So I'm talking about each of the signs. If you ever get your birth chart done, you'll know that you'll notice you have most of the signs in your chart. And so we can learn from each of the signs. And then we can learn about ourselves and others. Now, in this reading, you might say, oh no, there is a Taurus and there is a Virgo. Use your intuition, but I just want you to understand that's not my goal. And then we have the dissension. With friends like this, who needs enemies? That's that energy here that I was picking up. So yeah, it can be disappointing, but the bad news is that they weren't your friends at all. The good news is that then you're better off knowing that. And the star. So this is talking about the innocent are going to shine their light like a star. If you didn't know it, you're a star. You're at the top of the pyramid. I feel this investigation is really going to go put you in an energy where you're going to find out what happened here. And that could be, that could be the hard part of this reality check, is that it could be challenging information for you. But if you've been on the right side of the law here, and it will be in your favor. So this has been a really good reading. I mean, in many ways, there's a lot of good information here. Remember, like this next week, you could be feeling super emotional, more so than you thought you could be, with the Mercury going out, like communication going a bit askew, and also the energy of the full moon. And I will be doing readings. I'm going to start those tomorrow. So if you're interested in those, keep an eye out for them. All right, I will be back with another daily reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.